Hey guys, what's going on? Drangus here, and I'm doing what a cafe racer is supposed to do at a cafe. So, last video I talked about why you shouldn't customize your bike. And in this case, we customized the Hayabusa into a cafe racer. So, today I want to do something a little different. I want to talk about the positives. I want to talk about why specifically the Hayabusa makes a great cafe racer. There it is behind me, by the way. Number one, the Gen 1 Hayabusa is a fairly simple and reliable machine. It uses throttle bodies, for example, so it really doesn't, as long as gas is going into the engine, it really doesn't mind. It can run lean, it can run rich, it doesn't matter. Of course, it runs best optimally, but some bikes are very picky about that. The Hayabusa doesn't care. Number two is easily going to be the engine power and the size of the engine. There's two aspects to this. A lot of guys take R6s or 600, mid-weight and liter bikes, and they try to turn them into them. And the reason the Hayabusa, I think, is a better fit for that is because of that displacement and the torque you get at the low end. So all the power of a liter bike comes in way up in the RPMs, and let me tell you right now, this bike is not fun to ride in the high RPMs. It wants to wheelie, it wants to just get out from under you, but it has plenty of power down low, and it's very fun even in the 2,000 RPM range. So because of that displacement and the high power, the other aspect is when you start pulling off parts, you're going to lose some power. So I've probably lost 10%, 15% just because of the air flow. So because of that loss of power, you want plenty of power in reserve. To put it in Rolls-Royce terms, with the Hayabusa, you have so much it doesn't matter. You could lose 25% and still have just a boatload. The other thing is the bike sits very well upright. In this case, we put a set of Pro Taper bars on, just on it's got a custom triple top riser set, but it's really just a piece of metal cut out with some bolts for the risers. So Alex did a great job on that. You can do a lot of things. You could take this particular cafe racer and put clip-ons. It'd be easier. You clip them right onto the forks, and it would look more like a cafe racer. It would not be comfortable. And in this case, it's actually a little more comfortable in some ways. The seat, not quite there yet, but I think the Hayabusa is a great bike for it. And the other really getting to this, when you start taking the parts off of a Hayabusa, it just looks cool underneath. The ram air tubes, when you pull them out, it looks really mean and cool, whereas a lot of bikes have the big beaky thing up front. It's like a big square air box, and I see a lot of attempts to sort of cover that with a fairing or some decorative thing. You don't really have to cover anything on this bike. In fact, even before I had the headlight and bullet fairing on, it looked fine. It's just a good-looking naked bike. One last reason I think the Hayabusa makes a great, street fighter cafe racer build is that people are always surprised at what it is. When you pull off all that excess body off the Hayabusa, it really shows how much size you've taken off of it. People are always surprised to hear that it's a Hayabusa, which is kind of fun. People like the bike. And really what's weird, I find, is people liked the bike when it had even less fancy things on it. Seemed like whenever there was no fairing, people really liked it. They would come up, and I think it looked mean. It looked really aggressive. So, and now it sort of looks, it's starting to look like how a Triumph Bonneville looks in a way, like a Screaming Beast Bonneville. Well, anyways, guys, I hope the last video gave you some things to think about regarding, should you customize a bike? Knowing the time that goes in, knowing that you could totally destroy the bike. Absolutely, There's damage that could be happening in places you don't know about. Are you willing to risk that? Most people, they wreck the bike first, then they do it. In fact, a guy commented that on my channel once. He said, "You forgot to wreck the bike," and called me like an idiot or something. That's fine. I get called like cool, genius, and stupid and moronic about equally. So, the important thing is I like it. I think it looks great, and it's fun to ride. So, anyways, this is Drangus. I'll catch you guys next time, and, ride safe. Like and subscribe. I'll see you around.